On behalf of the Human Rights Campaign, I want to thank all of you for being here and thank all of you for the incredible leadership that you're showing to ensure that Hillary Clinton is elected the next president of the United States. I also want to acknowledge the Victory Fund and my dear friend, colleague, and partner in this movement, Aisha Moody Mills, who I know is here, right here. Aisha. I don't have to tell those of you in this room that we are truly at a pivotal moment in our struggle for full equality in this country. When Democrats gathered in Denver in 2008, our country was a far different place. Many of you in this room put your blood, sweat, and tears into electing a young, visionary, first-term senator who had long odds at the highest office in the land. But not only did we succeed in electing Barack Obama president, he became one of the grandest allies our movement for equality has ever known. But the true test of all of our success will be whether we are able to protect and to build upon the progress that we've all made under President Obama, or whether we will allow it to all be stripped away by the gravest threat that our community has ever faced in a presidential election, Donald Trump and Mike Pence. They deserve that. In the blink of an eye, Donald Trump could undo everything we have accomplished together over these last 8 years. And by the way, that's exactly what they promised to do. Fortunately, our candidate has something else in mind. Hillary Clinton has the most comprehensive LGBTQ agenda that we have ever seen from a major presidential campaign. And this week, in stark contrast to what the Republicans did in Cleveland last week, the Democratic Party adopted the most robust pro-equality platform in the history of our country. Now, speaking of the inclusive nature of our party, I know Aisha mentioned this earlier, but I want to acknowledge the historic moment that we're going to have before the ultimate historic moment that we're going to have tomorrow night, and that's when my HRC colleague and dear friend, Sarah McBride, will take the stage as the first transgender person to ever address a major party platform. Where are you, Sarah? Sarah's in the back of the room. Give it up for Sarah McBride. No pressure, Sarah. Hillary Clinton and Tim Kaine are the champions that we can count on to build on all the progress that we've made under President Obama. And now, I have the honor to introduce someone who knows that better than just about anyone else. She is someone that I first met as a kid growing up in Arkansas, and I got to know her even better when I was 19 working in the White House for the first President Clinton. And I can tell you firsthand that being a young person in Washington, D.C. is enough to give anyone a strong sense of civic engagement, a commitment to social justice, and a desire to give back. But if I had to guess, I'd say our speaker today was inspired by more than just that neighborhood. Public service is in her blood. It's in her DNA. From her tireless work with the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton Global Initiative, to her efforts for the campaign to pass marriage equality in this country, and her support for LGBTQ youth, our guest has demonstrated a lifelong commitment to justice and to equality. What's more, she firmly believes that the struggle for equality is one that's a defining moment in the history of all of our lifetimes. And she has been on the campaign trail each and every day, making the case to the American people that her mom, Hillary Clinton, is the leader we need for the battles ahead. And we are so grateful to have her as a leading voice in this movement, and we're so honored to have her here with us today. So now, please join me in welcoming our friend and our champion for equality, Chelsea Clinton.
Oh, thank you, and thank you, Chad. Thank you. Okay, you have to stop or I'm gonna cry. Which seems to be a common challenge for me this week. I almost cried many times as my father spoke last night. I am, thank you. Chad, thank you so much for that introduction. Thank you to everyone at HRC for all that you do every single day on behalf of all of us. As I tell Chad, and I think he believes it's a joke, but I mean it quite seriously, if you didn't share my mother's initials, you would be my favorite HRC. Since you share my mother's initials, you have to be my second favorite HRC. I also want to thank Aisha and everyone at the Victory Fund, and just everyone here who has been working and fighting for so long. As Chad has heard me say, as I know many of you have heard me say before, I do believe this is the most important election of my lifetime. And I feel that way for two interconnected reasons. The first is a deeply personal one. This is the first presidential election that I'm voting in as a mom. And I didn't know I could care any more intensely about everything I already cared pretty passionately about until I became a parent. I'm sure the parents in the room know exactly what I'm talking about. And the second reason I think this is the most important presidential election of my lifetime is for what you heard from Mark and Chad. Everything I care most about is at risk in this election. And when I think about the world that I hope for my children, when I hope that they can be safe and secure and loved and supported and be whomever they want to be, whomever they feel called to be, love whomever they want to love in their lives, that vision is at risk given what Trump and Pence are currently campaigning for, and certainly what we heard out of Cleveland last week. I've thought about what I found most offensive last week. It's hard, admittedly, to pick just one part of the Republican rhetoric, which was divisive, degrading, demeaning, or the Republican Party platform that was the antithesis to all that Chad celebrated for us as Democrats here. It was the most regressive, least inclusive platform in modern political history. But I think what I actually found most offensive really again ties to me as a mom. The open embrace of conversion therapy in the Republican Party platform. In other words, child abuse, to me, is the clarion call for all of us to do everything we can to elect my mom, but also to elect Democrats up and down the ticket. I was so thankful. I was so thrilled when Chad and Aisha shared that we have more LGBTQ candidates running for elected office in this cycle than ever before. We need to ensure that we are electing people who reflect our values so that my mom can finally pass the Equality Act, so that my mom can finally federally ban conversion therapy. so that my mom can restore the military records of everyone who has served our country with honor. And something that Chad mentioned that is deeply close to my heart, ensure that our most vulnerable youth, many of whom are LGBTQ, get the services and the support they need, even if they're not getting it at home. So we have a lot of work to do, and I'm going to do everything I can between now and November to ensure that as many people as I can talk to know what's really at stake in this election, and how what my mom is fighting for and what she has fought for her entire life offers such a stark contrast to what Trump and Pence are proposing. And I hope that all of you will continue to be part of this effort. And before I close, I just want to say how important it is that we actually get people registered to vote. Yes. Because I think, if you just kind of watch the media, it looks like everyone is engaged, but actually a lot of people are not yet engaged. If we just think about young people, many of whom, majorities of whom, share our vision for our country, we think only about 55% of 18 to 24-year-olds are registered to vote. And in most of the primary contests, the majority of young people who were even registered did not participate. So we have to register people to vote. We have to ensure people know how and when to vote, when Election Day actually is, and help people get to the polls. Because that's how we're going to win the White House, to build on President Obama's legacy of leadership, but also be able to go further and farther together. So just, oh, thank you. Well, I feel the same way about you today. And so I just am incredibly grateful to so many of you in this room whom I know, and to those of you whom I don't know, for all that you have done. We do have a lot of work ahead to protect the progress that we have made, and to ensure that we continue to make progress together. Because ultimately this is about my children and your children, my parents' grandchildren, for those of you that are of that generation, your grandchildren. And I should just start with grandchildren. Maybe that's a takeaway for me today. Because I refuse to have a country that won't embrace them for whomever they may be. And I refuse to have a country where that isn't also true for all of your children and all of your grandchildren. So just again, thank you so much. Thank you to Chad. Thank you to HRC. And onward, onward. Thank you very much, everyone.